Good afternoon, everyone. This is Susan McGuire, Director of Professional Development at ACCE. We're happy to have you here today for today's webinar. We're delighted to welcome Karen Tursek, Josh Suter, and Izzy West to talk about how they have used Affinity partnerships to provide valuable benefits to their members and non-dues revenue for their organizations. This webinar was made possible through the generous sponsorship of the National Commerce Group, and Fadi Hamdi of the National Commerce Group is here with us today to provide some information on how their National Chamber program, Office Depot program, works. So we're really looking forward to great presentations and lots of good information today. Before we get started, I just have a few housekeeping reminders. First, attendees are in listen-only mode during the webinar to avoid background noise. Second, after the presentation, we will have time for questions, and you can ask those questions by using the question function of the webinar. The question box is on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Just type in your question, and I will read the question to the panel. And if you have a question during the presentation, go ahead and type it in. We'll wait and hold questions till the end, but don't hesitate to type in your question when you think of it. If we run out of time and don't get to your question, or if you have a question that you would prefer to discuss with one of the panelists individually, there will be contact information for all of our panelists on the last slide. Also, if you type in a question and we don't get to it, we will get in touch with you after the webinar. Third, the presentation slides for the webinar are uploaded to the webinar panel. To access it, just click on the box labeled handouts and then click on the handout to download. I will post these presentation slides along with the webinar recording if you would prefer not to download them during the presentation. And finally, as I just mentioned, the webinar is being recorded. It will be up on the ACCE website on our ACC University webinar page no later than Friday, August 21st. So at this point, I will introduce our sponsors for today. Fadi Hamdi is the Affiliate Relations Manager for the National Chamber Program. The National Chamber Affinity Program, in partnership with Office Depot, is a network of over 1,500 chambers of commerce. Fadi has been with the program since 2012. When Fadi isn't working with chambers to grow sales and program revenue, she enjoys volunteering in her community and spending time with her rescue puppies. I also wanted to introduce Kelly Sirota. Kelly is the Director for Group Purchasing, Sales, and Strategy for the National Chamber Program, and she became the Director in 2018. Kelly enjoys working with her team to provide the resources and support our chambers, associations, and partnerships to increase sales and revenue. In her free time, Kelly enjoys time with her husband and 2 children and is active across many school and volunteer organizations in her community. So welcome Fadi, welcome Kelly. And at this point, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Fadi so she can explain a little bit more about their program.
Hi, this is Fadi. Thank you so much for everybody participating today and coming to listen to what we have to talk about. So as Susan mentioned, I've been with the program since 2012, back when it started with Benefits Corporation, and then the programs merged, and I've been with National Chamber Program since 2015. So I do go back quite a bit with this program. So we'll go through to the first slide. National Chamber Program administers, excuse me, Office Depot's largest and most successful chamber program in the country. We do have huge buying power because we do work with over 1,500 chambers across the nation. And what's wonderful about that buying power is that it really is able to be utilized by small business and entrepreneurs as well as large businesses. So that's what's wonderful about that. We do drive nearly 90 million in sales for Office Depot. We are a free resource to chambers, so it doesn't cost anything for chambers to participate in this program. Okay, and as we mentioned, we are a network of over 1,500 chambers working together to deliver greater member value through innovative products and services. Okay, and we really can help your members save thousands. It's up to 55% off in core office supplies, copy and print services, up to 55% off cleaning and break room items, and free next day delivery on orders of $50 or more, which is wonderful. You just, if you need a case of paper, you throw on some water to that, and it's delivered next day, which is wonderful. Okay, and so the value to the members, discounted pricing on technology, copy print, furniture, cleaning, break room, shipping, and all of the other services that Office Depot has to offer. So it's not just just your basic staples and paper. It's all the extra services that Office Depot has as well. And what's really important in these times that we're living in right now, all of the home office needs, all of the back to school supplies, all of those things are all part of what Office Depot offers. Okay, and we really are just a tool to sell membership as well. So the savings from this program really can help to cover the members' cost of membership. So you just this basic outline here, just giving an example, average spend in a year and average savings over retail. So that's what this little diagram is showing here. Okay, and the program really is offered both online and in the store. So it's just a basic, simple registration. You mention your chamber's name in the form, and an Office Depot or Office Max representative will contact the members to set up the account with the access to exclusive pricing. Okay, so this is just an example of what the in-store savings card looks like. As we mentioned, you're able to use the discounts both online and in the store. And we do have some of our chamber partners that offer this to other nonprofits in their community or parent-teacher associations. And so they really can share this card with the rest of the community. Okay. And that's pretty much what I have here. And I can go back to this, and if anybody has any questions, we'll be happy to answer those at the end.
Well, thank you, Fadi. Thank you for your support of the Chamber community and Chamber members, and thank you for supporting this webinar today. We really appreciate it. All right, so at this point, I'm going to introduce our other presenters. So first, we have Karen Tursek. Karen became the president and CEO of the Willoughby Area Chamber of Commerce in 2013. Within 4 months, with the support of a collaborative, strategic-minded board, she led the merger of the chamber with the Western Lake County Chamber to form the Willoughby Western Lake County Chamber of Commerce, where she's presently the president and CEO. Karen enjoys the many opportunities to help small businesses grow and thrive in Western Lake County, Ohio. In her free time, she enjoys time with her husband and 3 grown children. So thank you, Karen, for being here. Josh Suter is the Director of Membership and Business Relations, the Director of Membership and Business Relations for the Chamber of St. Matthews, an organization of over 1,260 members located in Louisville, Kentucky. In his 4 years at the Chamber's grown from 750 members to its current size and is now the 2nd largest chamber in the Louisville metro area. And then finally, we have Izzy West. Izzy is a chamber staffer at the Little River Chamber in South Carolina. She likes digital marketing and non-dues revenue so much that she blogs about it for other chamber pros. That is when she's not binge watching Netflix. So thank you, Karen, Josh, and Izzy. And at this point, I will turn the presentation over to Karen.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is probably one of my favorite topics when it comes to Chamber of Commerce topics, and that's making money for the Chamber. So first of all, I just want to start out with how do we as a Chamber determine what affinity program that we are going to support? There's a lot of vetting that goes on throughout the year. Sometimes we have Chamber members that approach us, and there's other Chamber members that offer the same program. So this is what we're basically looking at. First of all, is it something that our members need? or would want to use, and would it be a benefit to them? Secondly, is it already a service that our members offer? So we have a lot of members that offer payroll service, for example. So we're not going to necessarily offer a payroll service because that's competing with them. Third, the quality of the service, vetted by state or national associations, and that's where we do tend to get our Affinity programs from, or on either the state or national level. And then fourth, is there a residual that's going to support the chamber? Next slide, please. So we have been using a number of different benefits and providing a number of different benefits for our members. This is probably one of our newest ones, and it's the Chamber Energy Program through the Northern Ohio Area Chambers of Commerce. This has been a great opportunity for us to show value with the chamber, because we've had restaurants and we've had manufacturers in some cases that have saved thousands of dollars. Two in particular that both saved $30,000 in 1 year. They were paying unnecessary taxes, they had tariffs, they had commissions that they really shouldn't have been, that they were overpaying for, basically. So this program is through the Northern Ohio Area Chambers of Commerce. The organization is the Chamber Energy Advisors, and very ethical, very educational. And I guess that's what I really like about them. They take an educational approach when they're really selling their service. And the neat thing about it is that even though we really target restaurants and manufacturers where there's either a lot of square footage or they're using a lot of heat, for example, or a lot of energy. Residential, we can also share this with all of our employers for their employees. So it's not just for the employer, they can share it with their employees. So we started off with this program making maybe a couple of dollars a month, and I really wasn't sure where it was going to go, but I thought, okay, this is great for our members. Kept on working at it, kept on sending out, emails and our newsletters about, the chamber benefit. We work with a great partner. Every time I have someone that's interested, I introduce them to Rick via email, and he just follows up on them, which is fantastic. So we started with a very small amount on a monthly basis. Presently, and we've been with them probably for maybe 2 years, about 2 years now. As of the month of July, we are up to $203 per month with this program, and it's limitless. I mean, we have just skimmed the surface. Next slide, please. So this just shows some of the different savings that they have in various different businesses, a church, a restaurant, an office building. I just talked to someone recently, and they run a senior citizens apartment complex, and they are the ones that are paying for the energy. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to help them out, because that place is huge. So this just kind of shows you some of the other savings that they offer. Next slide, please. Another one of our Affinity programs is through Anthem Medical Insurance, and this again is through the Northern Ohio Area Chambers of Commerce. We offer two programs, the traditional Anthem program for businesses over 50 employees, and the MIWA, which is the multiple employer welfare arrangement, and that is through the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance and also the Northern Ohio Area Chambers of Commerce. So the traditional program we've been with for a number of years, they basically will give us sponsorship dollars to promote the product throughout the year. So we receive about $1,500 every year from them to promote the Anthem program. And they offer great discounts for our members. We actually gain members through this program out of nowhere sometimes, because their insurance agent has said, hey, you can save more money with the chamber. So they'll join just for this. The MIWA has been great. We've only had that probably for a couple years now, the self-funded program. And most of our employers are small businesses. So this has really gained some traction in our chamber. So the most recent check from the MIWA for November through April was $524. And again, just scratching the surface, I'm sure that confident that we're going to be gaining even more employers on the MIWA. So between those two programs, in Anthem, we make about $2,500 a year. Next slide, please. FedEx is another program that we use through the Northern Ohio Area Chambers of Commerce. And this also is a great program for manufacturers. I think the first group that people are going to think about are manufacturers, but there's lawyers and there's other financial institutions that may be FedExing something special overnight or whatever it might be. And the discounts range anywhere from 7 to 27%, depending on which of the carriers you're using. So they use any number of up to, I think, 7 different carriers. Our last statement that we received for the last quarter was $35.45. So this is another one that there's just a lot of potential on that we really could market even more on. From time to time, I'll send an email to our manufacturers about the FedEx program. But sometimes you just have to have that conversation too, which really does also help. Next slide, please. And that just shows the different carriers with FedEx that they utilize and the discounts. The prescription drug program, this is actually through ACCE, and we explored it and we thought, well, what do we have to lose with this one? This is kind of interesting because, again, we have a lot of small businesses that are a part of the chamber, and they may not have prescription drug programs. So we rolled this out, and I had a couple of folks on my board that said, hey, I used it and I saved money instead of using my regular prescription drug program. You can't use it on top of your regular card, but you can say, hey, can I save more money with this card? In some cases they do. One of the other board members saved money on their antibiotic for their dog. Another chamber member saved $100 on their prescription. And they take the card at all of the drugstores, grocery stores, which is really nice. This is one that we've just really started to promote. And there's a lot of potential with this one too. So we only had 16 transactions in 1 year at $1.25 that we receive as a residual. So we got a $20 check. But with a program like this, you could easily get up to $1,000 at least a year on a program like this. And again, it's just a great program that our members can use. Next, please. This is really our newest one. So when COVID hit, this kind of got me off the dime to really start this program. I had thought about it in the past in terms of we do certificates of origin. It takes time stamping all of the papers, and we have a small group of manufacturers that use it, but still it does take time, and then they have to come back sometimes because they made a mistake. So when COVID hit, I thought this is the time to look at this. I went on to ACCE, the home page, the home neighbors page, and said, hey, is anybody else using something online? And this was suggested. I looked into it, did some research. And so we've been using this for the past, well, ever since March. And it's all virtual. So all the certificates of origin are done online, and it is provided through the American World Trade Chamber of Commerce. And it's real time, processed in 1 day. It costs the business $25 for a certificate of origin, and from every $25, we receive $8 of that $25 that they charge. So for the month of June, we made $96. So another good program if you use certificates of origin, something to think about. I think all of our members have been pretty happy with it. I think originally they didn't like the idea of having to pay because that was just a part of their benefit. But we're definitely going to be making some changes next year in terms of that. So next slide, please. Comp management. So this is a workers' comp benefit. And this is something that had been there long before I was with the Chamber of Commerce, like 20 years. It was basically a collaboration of all of the Lake County chambers at the time, which were probably 11 chambers of commerce, and whittled down through the years, and now we're down to 3. But it's offered a great discount in terms of workers' comp for members, and over the years we've built it up. So right now we're receiving about $4,000 per year from the comp management program that we offer. And again, this is just a negotiated program, group purchasing basically through a number of chambers of commerce. Next slide, please. In conclusion, with these 6 Affinity cost-saving programs for members that also provide residual to the Chamber of Commerce, we bring in an additional $10,212 per year, with much more potential to do even more with little work. And on that note, I am going to pass this on to Josh Suter from the St. Matthews Chamber of Commerce.
Thanks, Karen. So I want to start with talking first off about how we choose our affinity partners. And so a couple of years ago, our chamber decided to start an RFP process. Proposals are submitted to us by both members and non-members, with the understanding that our non-members understand that if we choose their proposal, they must join the chamber. But our board reviews those along with the staff, and we choose our top 3. Those top 3 come in and make a presentation to the board. And then after those presentations are made, our board typically accepts one of those proposals. Now, our programs are on a 3-year contract, and they have the opportunity to renew, but they also understand as a part of that renewal, they have to basically submit their packages to us again because they're still competing to hold on to it. Their commitment to us is that they give us $3,000 across 3 years, although we do have a couple of programs that they provide maybe a service or additional sponsorship dollars in exchange for being the affinity partner. On our end, we agree to market these particular programs at our member orientations, at prospect meetings, at our business luncheons, things of that nature. The company, on the other hand, is really who is driving these, who's promoting them, and is really putting it out there. And a lot of them are at various events that we offer to help peddle that and help get it out in front of the membership. Next slide, please. So one of the programs that we find great success with, ironically, is the Office Depot program. And I've been able to utilize this really is with regard to schools as a way to really make money off of this program. And what I've been able to do is connect with our local schools and make sure that I get these discount cards and these discount codes into the hands of teachers who we all know have to buy supplies for their classrooms. They have to have certain things in their room, and if they're not getting it from parents, it's coming out of their own pockets. So if we can save them money, this is a great way for us to do it. And it's also a great thing for us because it's really enabling us to make more money off of the program. But the other thing I'll point out is the picture on the screen is actually when we did a Pack the Bus event with St. Matthews Baptist Church and Modern Woodmen of America a couple of years ago. Modern Woodmen committed $1,000 to the Pack the Bus program, which enabled school supplies for kids in our community that couldn't afford it. We took that money and went to Office Depot and probably got double the amount of school supplies we would have gotten had we not had the discount card. So it was really helpful for us to be able to take advantage of that program and also save some money, get more supplies, and then have that money come back to the chamber later. And we make anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 a year off of this program. Next slide, please. 2 of our affinity partners that I wanted to really highlight today are Streamline Payment Systems. Streamline Payment Systems is a local credit card processor in the state of Kentucky. And we started working with them a little over a year ago. And as a part of their agreement, they provide the credit card processing equipment that we use as a chamber. They also take care of the site that we run them through. And the best part about having them as our affinity partner, when we do our St. Matthews Street Festival, we have equipment on site on the street to run credit cards for the bars and for some of the other things we're selling on the street. In addition to being that provider, they also still give us that $3,000 across 3 years and still offer a discount to our members. And in return, they become our partner for credit card processing. We mention them at all of our events, especially at member orientation and the business luncheon. The other affinity partner that I'll focus on is Payroll Solutions. Payroll Solutions is a local payroll processor, And they not only do all of our payroll as a staff, as a part of their Affinity partnership, they also take care of a discount for our members. For us, the cost savings here is 100% on the fact that our director of operations doesn't have to mess with the payroll. She goes in, she puts the basic information in the system, and then in return, they take care of our payroll from week to week or every 2 weeks. So it's been a great time saving and cost saving for us being able to partner with them. And again, in return, we promote them at various events such as our member orientation and business luncheon. And now I'm going to hand it over to Izzy.
Hey guys, I'm Izzy, and I don't know if you're listening, but both Karen and Josh are receiving 5-digit figures back on their affiliate programs, and I'm sure you're wondering if I've done the same, and the answer is no. I have actually brought in $0 this year. This is my first year kind of refocusing on making that happen. But the good news is I'm actually really good about learning from my failures, which is actually what I'm going to help you with today. Next slide. Next slide. So I am from the Little River Chamber. We have 2.5 staff. I'm the marketing person. I have mostly free reign where I can do a lot of stuff on my own. Sometimes I go to my CEO if I need permission, or if I ever have that kind of doubt where I'm like, I don't know if we should do this, I do take it to her. But a lot of these I'm allowed to take it and run with it. Next. Before I do though, something that you might be wondering about is the difference between affiliate and affinity. Next. An example of an affiliate program is going to be like this National Chamber program with Office Depot, which means you're getting money back. An affinity program is usually more of a partnership. So the Shop Small program, you're still getting a benefit out of it because you're getting something exclusive, or if you're on Constant Contact, you're getting that for free through the chamber program, and you're actually getting exclusive access to certain things other people don't get. So it is still valuable. Personally, I tend to promote these interchangeably, but I just wanted you to know that. Next. So I'm actually going to do this backwards in case I end up talking too much, so that I'm going to give you all of my bigger tips and takeaways at first. The first one is I don't want you to focus on more than one thing at a time. If you haven't promoted the Office Depot card in a while, take some time to really go through and say, okay, let's dig deep. What do people need information on for this to happen? Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by all of the different options open to you and trying to do all of the things at once. Focus on one. When you get better or more comfortable, then let's add in another one. Next. I also want you to have some sort of plan, and I'll give you a few tips for these. And Josh made a great point about this where he knows he's promoting it, he has a plan, he knows what he's doing. You have to do something next to promote it and get the information out there. If you're not promoting it, your members may not know about it, and you just want them to. So you kind of have to tell them. And also, don't be afraid to experiment. This can go with anything like trying a new different affiliate program that other people haven't tried. It could be trying new creatives. No matter what it is, if my favorite quote comes to mind, and it's, if you're not making a mistake, you're not trying anything new. Next. And also think about your audience. And I'm starting to laugh because this was one of my recent mistakes. Was I tried to promote a bundle about homeschooling. And I did it because with the times, I know we're all worried about going back to school. So usually I wouldn't do this, but I thought it might be good timing. But I don't have a list of parents. I have a list of business people, and you might have a list of parents, and that's fine, but I don't. So I was not successful with it because I didn't rein myself back in to think about, okay, whose attention do I really have and how can I help them? Next. As I said, you want to be original and creative when you can. This can be a variety of ways, but get out there, try different things. I will also give you an example of where I didn't like one of the ads I was provided, and I actually changed it to something different. Next. And also, let's add incentives if you can. So for Office Depot, you won't need to, because the incentive for that is the business is saving money. If you're in Frank Kinney's group and you're on those Wednesday roundtables, you know he's using a program called Remo. If you use his affiliate link, he will actually help you one-on-one with some of those initial questions that you have. That's an incentive. You're providing an additional service or reason that they want it. Not only do they want it, but they want it from you. Next. And don't be afraid to talk about another business. I know Karen made a great point that we're not trying to find affiliates that compete with our members, but if they're not competing, then I don't always worry about them being a member. So the National Chamber Program is not a member, Office Depot might be, but they're still a really great affiliate program to be a part of. So don't be afraid to look outside your usual circle. Next. And also, please don't be afraid to earn money. I know sometimes as a nonprofit, we're afraid to earn money, we're afraid to ask for it, we're afraid to spend it. I just don't want you to be afraid to. You know, you deserve it, not only as a chamber, but as a person. So please take that extra confidence boost. Next. And of course, like I have done, don't be afraid to learn from your mistakes. Keep up with the things that you have tried to do. If it worked well, write down why it worked well. If it didn't, write down why it didn't or why you think it didn't. You want to learn and grow so you can keep the good parts and learn how to switch out the bad. Next. So I'm sure we've all heard this quote, if you build it, they will come. Next. And it's wrong. Sorry. Like I said before, you have to tell them that it exists. Just because you put it in one place doesn't mean that they know about it. I know we've all gotten that call where it's like, why didn't you tell me about this event? This is so great. I'm so mad I missed it. And we're just like, well, it was in the newsletter that we emailed you that you never opened. You know, you have to have multiple channels. You have to make sure that you're really trying to drive anything that you're promoting, you're actually promoting it. Next. And so this is a way that I plan and strategize. And you're welcome to screenshot this, steal it. I don't care. Go crazy. The one on the left is actually my personal communications plan for the chamber. So everything in blue is actually a social media post at Facebook. And I'm not saying just post to Facebook. I'm seeing that on Sundays at 4 p.m., I will post a new member. I'm posting about an affiliate program at least once a month. I'm being very strategic about this. I have a plan. I know that there's multiple things that I want to do. And so when I'm creating that plan in this, once I created it, I just print off the new month. I don't have to recreate this every month. And especially for a lot of social media marketing, everything else, no more than 20% of what you're doing should be an ad or adsy. The other 80 should be fun or informational, basically. And the one on the right is actually more of a promotional checklist for like an affiliate program. So I kind of have some notes where, okay, I know I kind of want to know what I'm talking about. I'm going to schedule either a social media post or emails, whatever I'm going to do. I make it a list so that I can check it off because we know we're all busy. We're all going to get interruptions. Having something written down really helps me get more done. And the section on this same slide where it says my relevant top post, my chamber does have a blog. So if there is a similar post like how to save money for your business, then I make sure that there's an ad for that Office Depot card on there or for them to join a member. So just again, trying to think of all the different mediums that the chamber has. Next. And this is a quick list. Social media, email, newsletters, those are your normal things you know that you can promote there. Like Josh said, your new member packet at orientation, the Office Depot card is a great example because it's physical and tangible. I slide it in the packet. Any of our affiliate programs that have a flyer, those go in the new member packets too. You can also create content. So like I mentioned, I have a blog on my chamber website, littleriverchamber.org, and we write things either to businesses or both also to locals and visitors about our area. Sometimes we also create videos. Yes, I create videos. Sometimes it's a tutorial, especially for technology. So we have a social media scheduler and I was like, okay, this is how I set it up. because you want to be helpful. You want to be that go-to person when they have questions about that program you're promoting. We also have, nope, sorry. I just have to take deep breaths so you guys don't have to hear me huffing and puffing. We create both individual web pages as well as a list. And what I mean by that is that I have a specific web page for the National Chamber Program in Office Depot, but then I have another web page where I have a list of all of our affiliate programs. This is good SEO for you because you're pointing internal links on your website, but it's also just really handy for your members. So you can either give them the specific information if that's what they want, or if they just want a list of ways to save money. And I also have website ads, which I'll show you in a second. But before I do, I just want to remind you to use the advertising space you offer to members. If you offer it to a member, don't let it go to waste. Use it for yourself. Next. So in here, the blue is like picture your basic website, whatever your site looks like is fine. At the bottom or in the middle of my page content, I probably have an ad either to an affiliate program or even another page on my site. I want them to spend more time on my website, even if it's a button at the end of an article. So I have a blog post that says 10 reasons to visit Little River, and then the button says, okay, here's some places to stay, and it goes over to my business directory listing. On the right-hand side, I use my advertising space, which is the black text in this example, is I'm trying to collect emails, but I'm also going to show affiliate ads. Whenever I offer this space as an ad, like a paid monthly fee to my members, and when my members don't take me up on it, then I'm promoting an affiliate program. Next. So this was my example of where I have a web page for a list of the different ways for my members to save money, and those are all affiliate programs. And the one on the right is an example of a specific offering an affiliate program. So that's for Dosh, the cashback app. And as you can see, I give them information about the program, and then they click through to go over to, for them it's Dosh, or it could be National Chamber Program. But I still want some information on my page, so it is lending that credibility of the chamber logo and chamber name to it. Next. This is an example of just ads that I include in my email and newsletter. Like I said, if you offer that space to members, use it yourself if you have extra room or if they haven't taken you up on it. Next. Okay, this was my bad example when I wasn't thinking about my audience. So this is through a program called Ultimate Bundles that I really like. They vet all of their stuff for me, and I am a customer. I've purchased several things for them, so I know I like them. But I didn't think about the fact I don't have parents on my list. And at the bottom, I've actually included my numbers for transparency so you can see my click-through rate between emails and my website banners was only 1.3%. Now, nationally, for a lot of affiliate programs and e-commerce, the average is 1.9 with a conversion rate, which is what CR is, of 1%. So by their standards, I'm actually doing okay. But as we all know, chambers are actually better than everybody else. So as a chamber, I would really want to be performing better than them because people already trust us. We already have that paid list of members that know, like, and trust us. Next slide. This is where I took the ads that Dosh provided me that I did not like, and I actually combined them to create a new ad on the right. So they gave me that image that just said Chamber Awards program, but it said nothing else about Dosh. And I was like, okay, that's great, but as a consumer, that means nothing to me. So I revamped it and I followed their brand guidelines. So you still want to make sure you're not breaking any of the rules that they set because you still want to promote them in a proper way that they would like to be promoted. But don't be afraid to change it out a little bit. Next slide. I did the same thing with this ad. And there's a reason for this one, though. This wasn't just about informational. I have found that on my sidebar, on my website, I don't get a lot of click-throughs no matter who I'm promoting or what the ad is about. So what I'm trying to rework my brain to do is treat it almost like a billboard. I don't want them to click on it and buy anymore. I want to serve them information or just introduce the brand. So I've made it a little bit more interesting. Instead of being 97% off, instead of being a sale, I'm just saying, hey, did you know that the average employee is interrupted from their work 56 times a day? That's a little bit more interesting, a little more eye-catching, and it's not a bad thing if they keep scrolling and ignore it, because I've still included their branding and their logo so that the next time they see a similar ad, which is probably going to be in my newsletter or anywhere else that I might put it, it's going to be a little bit more familiar. And in advertising, don't quote me on it, but I think it takes like 7 times for you to see your brand for you to start to trust it or even want it. So that is still helping me with my funnel, but I'm not necessarily counting on it. Next. And like I said, you want to keep track of what works and what doesn't. This screenshot is from bit.ly. If you have a link for an affiliate program or a sponsor even, you can put that link in here and use your bit.ly shortened link as your actual link that you link out to, because it will track the number of times it's being clicked, and it sorts it by specific social media accounts or if it's directed from your website and other stuff like that. So sometimes that just gives me a quick screenshot of how many times that link has been clicked from me putting it out there versus somebody else. I also just have a paper planner, and I actually just write down just self bullet point notes. I'm like, this worked, this didn't. You could try spreadsheets. Go back one real quick. And if you want to get really fancy, that second bullet point, UTM Tag Manager, you can Google that. That would be how you would yourself create those really long URLs that you see marketers use. And that's what you Google to learn how to track what link is being clicked on by what channel, like email versus social media versus that. That's the really fancy stuff. So if you want to Google it, that's fine. Next. This screenshot is from Google Analytics. This is actually, I've set up in Google Tag Manager how to track my outbound links. And so I can just see, okay, where are the most popular links people are going to at a glance from when they're leaving my website, but that also means I can look at my affiliates that they're clicking out to. Next. Okay, and if you're curious about how to find programs to join, here's a few ideas in case you didn't get enough from Karen and Josh, which I'm a little doubtful now. If you've downloaded the handouts, the ACC website is actually a link. If you click that link, you will see a list of affiliates that ACCE recommends. You can also see what other chambers like Willoughby, I'm sorry, Karen, I'm butchering your name. Willoughby Western Lake County Chamber of Commerce from Ohio, and Josh again was from the Chamber of St. Matthews in Louisville, Kentucky. Sometimes they come to me, so Dosh was one of those. I got an email from them. I was familiar with the brand and I was like, yes, let's do it. You can also check your current software. So I use SmarterQ, which is a paid social media scheduler, and I don't get money from them, but if I refer another customer, I actually do get money off my bill. So it saves me money in the long run. So you can check the current things that you're already using to see if they have an affiliate or referral program. I found that local universities or other continuing education places are another great source for that, but also check with your members, especially if they're B2B or insurance. I took an email that I got from another chamber that had an example of a printing package that they put together that was an affiliate program from the chamber, but was also still promoting that member. And I actually just forwarded that email to those same types of businesses that were on my member list. And I didn't ask them for anything. I just said, hey, saw this email, thought it was really cool, and thought I'd share. And one of them responded in 5 minutes, and he was like, hey, we would love to do that. We would be happy to give the chamber 10%. So that was super easy. Another one, we have a local insurance company that does underwriting, and he is also working on creating an affiliate program just for us for a variety of insurance needs. And then I've also listed a few on my blog, but please note, ACCE nor our sponsor, the National Chamber Program / Office Depot, have not endorsed or vetted any content on my personal blog, but that is also a link if you want to click through. This is really similar to what Karen was sharing. You want to find an affiliate program that is probably not conflicting with the member unless they are the member. You want something that your members actually need, and you want something you want to be able to help them with. And that was really my only point for that. Okay, so please learn from my mistakes. I hope this made you feel a little bit better or have a little bit more of a plan that you can do it. We all start from somewhere. I'm actually still really confident going forward, and I have a lot of great ideas of things I'm actually going to implement in the next month. And before you leave this webinar, I encourage you to go ahead and write down one thing you are going to get done in the next week that you know you can get done in the next week, and write down another thing that you would probably like to do, but maybe you need a little bit more time, but then you can detail out all those steps that you need to get done. And again, I do have a personal blog, theizywest.com. If you go to that /ACCE webinar, you will be emailed or if you fill out the contact form on that, you will be emailed my slides and also some other links I might have glossed over. But again, this has not been vetted nor endorsed by ACCE or the National Chamber Program in Office Depot. That being said, I believe we are all open to questions now.
Okay, well, thank you, Izzy and Josh and Karen and Fadi for that great information, great ideas and inspiration. If you have questions, folks, please type them into the question box. We have about 10, 12 minutes or so for questions, so I'd be happy to read them off to our panelists. And I have a couple of questions about Office Depot. So I guess, Fadi, these are mostly for you. Let me see here. One question is, how do chambers make any revenue on the program? And a related question is, how much does a chamber have to sell with Office Depot to receive a residual?
So how you make money off the program is when your members shop through your what we'll call a portal link. That all of that money, all of those sales funnel up underneath under the umbrella of your chamber program, and we'll start paying residuals out once that number hits 25,000. So it's a tiered setup, and so once you hit 25,000, you'll start earning 2% back, and then 50,000 to 100,000, you'll start to earn 3% back, and so on up the chain.
Okay, thank you. Another question on Office Depot. I've contacted our local Office Depot in the past regarding their Affinity program if they join the chamber, and twice they've declined. Any thoughts or tips on how to get them engaged?
Sure. So the program is actually run through the Business Solutions division of Office Depot. So the stores aren't always as familiar, even though those cards and the discounts all work within the retail stores. Just those managers and the representatives within the store aren't always as familiar with the program as a Business Solutions division. So just go ahead and contact me, and we actually do join the chamber on the Business Solutions division. So some chambers, some retail stores are more engaged than others, but we do join the chamber on behalf of Office Depot.
Okay, terrific. And Fadi's contact information will be on the next slide, so you can contact her that way, or if you have any other questions, I'm sure she'd be happy to talk through those with you. Let me see here. I have a member that does credit card processing, and they are interested in creating an affiliate program. What is my next step? How do I set up a contract? Anyone want to take that one?
I'm happy to take it. So what we've done is and I'm happy to share a contract with anybody that reaches out to me, but our contract basically gives them the requirements that we ask of them, and in return, what discounts they're going to offer to our member on whatever that program is going to be. Our contract with our credit card processors, as I mentioned before, also says, that they're going to provide the equipment we need in-house and at our events. But again, I mean, you kind of lay out all of what you want and what they should be giving and what you're going to do back for them in return. And we use the same contract for all of our Affinity partners. We just changed the wording a little bit so that it matches whichever contract we're working on. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Josh. And Melanie, who asked this question, you should feel free to get in touch with Josh or anyone else if you have questions about that process. His email is on the next page as well. I think this was answered, and it might have been by Josh, but this question came in at the very beginning of the webinar. What chambers are offering financial services for small businesses like bookkeeping as a revenue source or product? And Josh, you were the one with the payroll program, right?
Yes, so we have a payroll processor in the membership that they take care of the payroll for our staff. They give a discount to payroll processing needs for our members, and then in exchange, they're an Affinity partner with us. This same company can also do some bookkeeping things for our members as well if they have those needs.
Okay, thank you. Let me see. Izzy, do you disclose the affiliate relationships on your webpage?
Yes, please do that. Please disclose all of your affiliate programs. If you signed up for my email just now, you'll see at the top of that email, I say, hey, this includes affiliate links. On my page, somewhere on that web page, I say, hey, we get a portion of this. You can copy and paste a little affiliate disclaimer. Yes, please do that to stay legal.
Okay, thank you, Izzy. Another question. We've been contacted by Sprint and Century 21 Affinity programs. Has anyone worked with either of these two programs? And if so, any feedback? Any of the panelists know anything about these programs? All right, doesn't sound like it. So if anyone else in any of attendees knows any info, you can send it in the chat, or you can just type it in the question box and I'll put you all together. What about 401k programs for small businesses? Has anyone explored that opportunity?
Ironically, we're working on that one now. We've been talking with a company here in Kentucky about creating a program. We're still very much on the early phases, but the plan is that they would be able to, help our members set up a 401k program, and then in exchange for what they're doing, they become an Affinity partner and would also be expected to contribute a portion back to the chamber, like all our other Affinity partners are.
Yeah, there's also another one that's specifically called something like Chamber 401ks, and they actually work with you to help. They understand that this is an affiliate program already, so that they can talk to your members for you. They're happy to do a webinar. I haven't set it up with them yet, but I've talked to somebody recently, so I know it's out there.
It sounds like a great program, but for the Willoughby Westerly County Chamber of Commerce, I cannot tell you how many small financial investment firms that we have that are selling 401k programs. So it's not something that we would offer.
Okay. So one of our attendees just started working with Lincoln Financial, and so I can connect the two of you. And then I also had someone who has experience with Sprint, so I'll put you all together too. So thanks for that. Do you accept affiliate programs that might be conflicts of interest with another program you're already working with?
I would say
so
no.
For us with the Anthem program, it's an exclusive program. A lot of times when you take on a program like this, they make it exclusive. They like it to be exclusive. Sometimes that's not required, but the majority of the time what we have found is that it is that they want it to be an exclusive program where we are only promoting them as a program to the chamber.
It's also easier on yourself and your staff if you're doing that. If you're trying to promote two different paid things to your members, you're kind of going to confuse them because they just want to know what the best one is. So I try not to give them too many options. I also just like doing the exclusivity part. And sometimes if they conflict, maybe I just bluntly tell them in person, I'm like, hey, I'm interested, but we already have X. I'm only interested in promoting Y part of your offering.
Yeah, and I would say on our end, the only time we're going to have even remotely close to a conflict would be that we already have a phone system affinity partner, but we recently had an IT company approach us. And while our phone system guy does IT work, he's not the IT affinity partner. So the other company is able to, put in a bid and potentially take that piece on. But they each stick to their own areas. They can't talk about the other one's area when they're out promoting them.
Okay, those are all that's all great advice. Thank you. One last question, Josh. Would you be willing to share a sample of your contract for your affinity program to me, and then I can possibly post it with the recording?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can get that to you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Let me see here. Thank you, first of all, to our wonderful sponsor, the National Commerce Group. In the handout, these links are live, so you can click on the National Chamber Program to learn more about it. Also, at our Future of Chambers Summit, which will be September 29th to October 1st, they will have a booth, so please stop in. We're going to have a wonderful exhibit hall in addition to our educational sessions and roundtables and keynotes, and that expo hall will be open throughout the summit and afterwards as well. So please visit them there, and thank you, Fadi, for your presentation. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all of our presenters, Karen, Josh, Izzy, Fadi, and Fadi's co-worker, Kelly. If you need information or follow-up for any of these folks, here is their contact information. And again, in the handout, these links are live, so please go ahead and contact them for more information. And just as a reminder, this webinar was recorded, and I will post it most likely tomorrow, but certainly no later than Friday. I'll include the resources that we've mentioned in the webinar along with the recording, and so everything will be there for you. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Thank you, presenters. Thank you, Fadi. And we will see you all on our next ACC webinar. Have a great afternoon.